Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Tonight, we're going to be talking about payment processing. So glad that everybody could make it. I'm very excited. Khaazra is our special guest today. He has tons of knowledge about payment processing. If you have any questions, like what is payment processing? Can I make money with payment processing? Can I use payment processing in my business? Like if you have an online business or if you have a brick and mortar business. How can you benefit from payment processing? So, with no further ado, I am going to introduce to you Khaazra, who has over a decade experience of payment processing. If you have any questions, put them in a comment. Let me know. Kaz, take it away.
You just gave it to me, huh? I was expecting
Yes.
a whole bunch of questions, but it's okay. I can explain what payment processing is in a nutshell. Payment
Okay.
processing allows you to accept payments. It's a way, instead of accepting cash, like if you had a physical store, there would be no way you would want people coming in only paying with cash. First of all, it limits your ability to make sales. Secondly, it's just I think it's a risk, a security risk to have a bunch of cash in your business. And third, if you're online, which many people are today, you have to have a credit card. So payment processing allows money to go from one credit card to your business and into your bank account, and it allows your customers to get their products. So it's really a fast way of making sales electronically. So our company is called Ecom Payments. We specialize in payment processing. We've been doing it for, I don't know, so many different years, maybe different names of companies, but we've been doing this for a ton of years. And let me take it back just a little bit. So when I first got into this industry, I knew nothing about payment processing. And so I would go door to door to many different businesses of all types, cigar stores, liquor stores, churches, daycare centers, schools, hospitals, hotels. I mean, any kind of mechanic shops, car dealerships, anything you can think of. And the one thing that I begin to notice is that people didn't have a really good way of keeping track of their finances when it comes to they make a sale, they buy products for a certain price, then they make a sale and not really understand how much they're paying in payment processing fees, which also affects directly how much you pay for your product or your profit for the most part. So if you buy a product for $10 and the payment processing fee is say 4 or 5%, that's killing your profit, right? Because you have to pay staff, you have to pay your vendors, you have to pay the light bill. There's a lot of things you have to pay. And so what I begin to understand is how can payment processing help people run their businesses more efficiently? And so that was one way I began to communicate with people. And just taking a step back, initially I would go into the businesses sounding just like a salesperson, like looking and smelling and sounding like a salesperson. I'm from Detroit, and I'm like, wait a minute. I know how to communicate with people. I know how to talk to people. I know how to relate to people. So I dropped all the corny corporate sales lingo and just began to communicate with people as a human being. As I began to work with more and more businesses, I began to find ways on how to help them save money. That was one thing. The next thing I began to do is show them how to run the businesses more efficiently by using a POS system, by using a credit card system, so that you don't have to be writing down notes and thinking about, oh, I made this sale and I made that sale. Like all the system is kept within the payment processing portal, which they call a POS. The POS system would basically help people run their businesses more efficiently. Some people process online. And so I begin to help people who have physical businesses take their businesses online to add 2 extra income streams. Then I begin to show people, hey, once you start making sales, if you're just brick and mortar and people are coming in, okay, that's great. But how do you re-communicate with them to let them know that you have another product that you can offer, or that you're having a sale, or you're having a bonanza of some sort, right? How do you do that? Most people who have a business never, ever communicate with those people again, ever. The other thing I begin to notice is that people may be interested in buying a product from you, but they may not buy at the present moment. Why not? Maybe they're not comfortable. Maybe it's just not their time. And I read this article that Google just recently put out. I think it's called 7-4-11, meaning that people have to see you 7 times, right? They have to get 4 touches. and 11 different kinds of communication with you, and then they feel comfortable buying with you. But if you're a brick and mortar business, or if you're just seeing people once or twice, you're not going to get that many sales. So this is why you see a lot of businesses in the community, especially where they're considered small, like extremely small, and it's because they don't have exposure. So the few people that come to their business, especially their physical location, how do they get there? Are you advertising on TV? Nope. Are you running ads? More than likely not. Or do you expect people to just know about you? Or do you tell your friends and you hope that they just spread the word and everybody you've ever known in the world is going to come and support your business? It does not work like that, right? You have to constantly promote. So the POS system also helps people promote their business, meaning that somebody comes to you, you have to grab their information, collect their information in some way, shape, form, or fashion. You can't be writing it down on notepads today, right? You have to collect their information. Once you collect the information, you communicate to them. Hey, I got this sale, I got this sale, I got that sale. Now, I didn't mean to talk about all this today, but payment processing is bigger today than only taking payments. Today, it helps you manage a business. There's a CRM on the back end, which means customer relationship management tool. You can also do you can manage your KPIs, and payment processing also allows you to have your customers pay you automatically, just like Netflix does. Amazon does the same thing.
Okay, so if I was to sign up and say, hey, cause I'm interested in being involved with payment processing, how much would I make per transaction if I was to go out and offer this service to a brick and mortar business or online business? How much would I get paid if I offered it to an online business versus a brick and mortar business?
So there's two things we do. When I would go into a business, there's a couple things. Let me just see if I can answer it like this. Some businesses, we can eliminate their fees 100%. It's called zero processing. So let's say if a person is, remember earlier I mentioned the example of someone paying $700 per month. There's a way where we can eliminate that all the way down to zero, right? So if I'm the person, the consultant who helped them set that up, then I'm going to make a huge percentage of that $700 per month. Now, I have businesses where I've made $100,000 per month, and I did not give them zero processing. It's because they had online businesses that had all this stuff that they needed. They were getting chargebacks, they needed all these different protection programs. So it really depends on the business itself. But for the business owner, most online businesses, what they care about is being able to process consistently, being able to accept money consistently in their bank account. And they don't want anything to cause a hiccup. They don't want chargebacks to be a problem. They don't want refunds to be a problem. They don't want fraud to be a problem, right? And they want their money fast and efficiently. So as a consultant, I'm going to make sure that I help them do that. Most of the times, they may pay between 3.5% to 4.5% overall. It doesn't matter what's quoted. I know you may see on Stripe where they say we only charge 2.9%. If you do the math, you're never going to pay 2.9%. It's always going to be like 3.5%, 4%. So it really just depends on that particular business. But if you have a business and you want to put money back in your pocket, let's say you have a daycare, when you when you collect money via a credit card, there's a way you can do something called dual pricing, where instead of you paying the processing fee, you can split that processing fee or lower it, where the cardholder may absorb some of it and you will pay a lower fee. So that means now, if you're paying, let's just say, I don't know, $500 per month or $1,000 per month in credit card fees, how would that benefit you to put that back into your business and invest it to grow your business, give employees, I don't know, staff member a raise, or fix the building, or even promote more? If I'm helping that person do that, then I receive a piece of the action, meaning that if I help you save all this money, if I help you make your business more efficient, then yes, I will receive a small percentage of that profit. It just depends on what that is.
Okay. Yeah. So to get into the payment processing world, would you consider it kind of difficult because it's a lot to learn? Or would you consider it mediocre, or would you consider it easy? How would you classify that? Because if someone likes what they're hearing this evening and they decide, hey, I do want to get into payment processing because every time somebody swipe, I can get a little piece of that.
Right. So I remember when I was a little child, I think I was in Inkster, Michigan or Detroit, I forget which one. And I wanted to ride my bike. So, they put the training wheels on for me because I couldn't balance the bike out. And so with the training wheels, obviously I was able to ride my bike. And I began riding the bike and which was great. And then at some point, and I don't remember the exact date, they took the training wheels off and I began to just ride and ride and ride like it was no big deal. But before that, I had to have training wheels on before I could ride independently. In payment processing or in anything you do, it's the same thing. You get the fundamentals down, and once you master the fundamentals, and when I say master, I don't mean you have to be a professor. When you get the fundamentals down, then you just add on top of that. You just layer it. Just like basketball. I like to play basketball, or used to at least, right? And I didn't start off just dunking or shooting from half court or shooting three-pointers, if anyone knows what that is. I didn't start shooting far away from the basket. I started off with the very basics. Can I dribble the ball? Can I bounce the ball? Can I make a layup? Can I make a free throw? Can I make a mid-range shot, which means I'm shooting closer to the basket? Can I make a jump shot? Can I shoot a three-pointer, right? Now I can do all the crossovers and stuff like that after a few years, go around my back, no look passes and all this other kind of stuff, scoring 2 and 3 people, doing Euro steps and things like that. So for anybody, if you're a business owner and you want to say, hey, how can payment processing benefit me? You just take baby steps. But the first thing you have to do is take a step. You will never learn just by sitting on the sidelines. You will never learn anything sitting on the sidelines. So it's taking baby steps, and then one day you're this person who has all this accumulated knowledge and information that now you can share and consult with others on. So hopefully that answers the question.
Yes, it did. Very well said. We got a hand raised. Jody, you got a question?
Yeah, I do.
See if I can unmute.
I appreciate y'all time taking out to teach us this. What's the percentage again for the processing? Like what's the credit card percentage? Because you're right, it's normally about 3.5%, 4%. But how much is your company charging?
So we can set the rate. Now we have to, of course, set the rate at what Visa, MasterCard gives us. We can't go below that without paying for the fees. Now, we have flat rate programs where we can do, say, 2.5, especially for like a low risk business like yours. We can go lower, but we can also do a program where it's called zero processing, meaning that you don't pay any fees. What happens is that, let's say, for instance, you pay, I don't know what you say, you pay 3.5% or whatever. Instead of paying 3.5%, you won't pay anything for the credit card. That fee will be reversed. So instead of you paying $500, $1,000 a month, whatever it is, now that goes back to your business. The card holder absorbs that fee. And it's very normal today. In restaurants, they do it. Some people call it convenience fee and all kinds of other fees, but you don't even have to go through all that. It's automatically included in the processing. And so you give people the opportunity, and some people say, oh my God, I don't want to charge my people, but people do it all the time. But what you say is, you know what, if you pay cash, then just pay cash, right? Or then you reverse it. And it's just that simple. And no one really has a problem with it because it's kind of small. So as a matter of fact, if you have $100 fee, somebody may pay $104, right? Now, if you have a $25,000 fee, that's when somebody, first of all, I don't even want to run a credit card of $25,000 for the most part, but that's when it can get a little bit expensive for somebody because now you're adding on an additional $1,000. But anything up under, a couple $100, $100, it's not really a big deal. People don't feel it. They don't have any issues with it. So we could do a zero processing fee as well, Jody. So that would eliminate it 100%.
So once it's zero, we split the profits, or you take all the profits?
We like to keep it all, man. I'm just playing. No, so there's a way to do that so let's say Regina set it up, right? Then the Regina would, of course, share in that profit. Now, you as a direct business, maybe Regina donates to the business. Maybe, there's a charity you have or something like that. Now, if you refer somebody else yourself, then yes, then you begin to share in that profit directly, if it makes sense. But the way payment processing works, businesses aren't supposed to directly benefit from that particular zero processing program. I can explain it to you more offline.
No, I get it. I get it. I get it.
And the profits could be a couple $100 a month. It could be thousands a month. It just really depends. I'll give you an example. Let's say, on average, what do you think the average Amazon, let's say a successful Amazon store, how much money do you think they bring in a month?
I would say at least 30 to 50,000 a month.
Okay, so let's just hit $40,000 per month, right? I'm gonna do it times. Let me just look at the profit on that. 25%. So you probably do anywhere between, I say maybe about $800 a month profit, if I'm saying on the low side. And that account, if you're doing $800 a month on profit on the low, and you multiply that by 12, that's $9,600 that you have coming in. You find another store doing something similar, right? And now you got $20,000 coming in. You find another store, you get 30. So it can add up relatively fast. It really just depends on the businesses that you're working with.
No, that makes sense.
Yes, it does. That was very well stated. I enjoyed this.
Right. Okay. Well, I'm glad you all did. So I don't want to keep people too long unless anyone else has any other questions. I appreciate you for tuning in. And I really, 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 really think that whether you are a business who accepts credit cards and you need payment processing, or you want to offer payment processing as a business, I really think that people in the community need to be involved because we're the biggest spenders.
Yeah.
We are the biggest spenders on the planet, right? Nobody can spend like we do. We buy the best clothes, we buy the best cars, the best shoes. Like, we got to have the best of everything. Like, you may see somebody else come and be like, man, what kind of clothes they got on? They may be a multi-millionaire, right? You see somebody in the community, they iced out and may not have, to the limit and may not have anything because we're so indebted. So this is one way, in my experience and from what I can see, that you can tap into a multi-trillion-dollar industry. Everybody has a credit card or a debit card. Everybody's using some form of plastic. And once you're not going to get all the clients, but you don't need all the clients either. You could get a handful of clients. You can get hundreds of clients. And once you develop the relationship, or you make a relationship, or you make a contact, or you become the matchmaker, then now that account pays you every single second, minute, hour, daily, weekly, holidays, or no holidays, while you're sitting at your home, or while you're vacationing, or while maybe you like working a lot. Maybe you want to work another job and work 12 hours a day. It doesn't matter. You still make money, recurring income every single month. And so to me, that represents a certain level of security, a certain level of reliability. Like, I can count on that. Just like the phone company has all of us on recurring billing, right? They know that money is coming in. The light company, the mortgage company, all these are recurring. This is just recurring income. We probably can't beat out the major mortgage companies. We're not going to beat out Visa, MasterCard, right? We're not going to beat out the light company, the phone company, the energy company. We're not going to beat them out right away. They've been in the game for way too long and they got their tentacles in it like that, right? But we can play at this game. We can play at this game for sure. So anyway,
awesome.
That's my
awesome information.
Spiel. That is my spiel right there. So I appreciate you all, and I hope to hear from you all soon. Hope to see some of you all sooner.
Okay, guys. Have a good night, good evening, and we will see you soon.